What up, YouTube? Timu is here. Now the lineup for the 2020 Sundance Film Festival have been announced, and it's a pretty interesting lineup. Now, granted, I never mentioned the Sundance Film Festival. Or I haven't really mentioned any film festival to be exact. I mean, I should probably one of these days go, but they don't know what you call cheap. Anywho, and they've always had some really amazing stuff at Sundance. I mean, almost a lot of movies that ended up going in my top 10 were from Sundance, like The Big Sick, Whiplash, almost, uh, oh yeah, Eighth Grade. I mean, some loads of great stuff came from Sundance. So, with that being said, now I'm going to read off the list of not all the films, but most of the films that set to premiere at Sundance. And some sounds interesting. I mean, granted, I haven't seen a trailer for any of these films or anything, but this is just a synopsis. Sounds intriguing. So, anyway, sorry. All right. One of the films premiering is a film called the 40 Euro Version, not Virgin, Version. Version. 40 Year Virgin is a totally different film. Anyway, the film stars and is directed by Rada Blank, and it's about this down on luck a New York playwright decides to reinvent herself and salvage her artistic voice. The only way she knows how to by becoming a rapper at age 40. Now, Rada Blank, plays the lead. Peter Kim also stars in this. Amani Lewis. Some interesting cast members. Sounds intriguing. I mean, I do love me a good movie about sounds a bit like a mix of 8 Mile or something like Dope. I mean, I do love me a good rap-based movie. So, all right. There's also a film called Blast Beat, which stars real-life brothers Moses and Mateo Arias, and it's directed by SBN Orejano. And here's what it's about. After the family immigrates from Colombia during the summer of '99, a metalhead science project and his deviant younger brother, do their best to adapt to new lives in America. It also stars Daniel Day Kim, Wilmer Valderrama, and Diane Galerario from Orange and the Black fame. Sounds interesting. All right. There's a film playing there called Charm City Kings, which is scripted by Barry Jenkins and stars the likes of Jai D. Alla Winston, Meek Mill, Tanaya Ferris, and it's about this young kid named Mouse who desperately wants to join the Midnight Clique, which is the infamous Baltimore dirt bike riders who rule the summertime streets. And when Midnight's leader, Blacks, takes 14-year-old Mouse under his wing, Mouse soon finds himself torn between the straight and narrow, and a road filled with fast money and violence. Dang. Now this was actually supposed to be called something else. 10 o'clock something. I can't remember the actual title. And it's like based on a documentary, so this kind of sounds intriguing. I'll probably give that one shot. There's a film called Dinner in America, which is about a on the lam punk rocker and a young woman obsessed with his band go on an unexpected an epic journey through the decaying suburbs of the American Midwest. And it stars Kyle Gallner, Leah Thompson, Griffin Glue, Mary Lynn Ratzka, Pat Healy. Sounds kind of intriguing. I mean, it'd be interesting. Um, there's a film called The Evening Hour, which is directed by Braden King and stars the likes of Philip Ettinger, Stacey Martin, Lily Taylor, and it's about Cole Freeman who maintains a uneasy equilibrium in his rural Appalachian town, looking for the old and infirm while selling the execs painkillers to local addicts. Damn, that sounds interesting. There's a movie there called Farewell Amore, which I guess Sundance just loves A movies with the word farewell in the title. Let's see. There's a film called Minari, which is directed by Lee Isaac Chung, and it's about David, who's a 7-year-old Korean American boy, gets his life turned upside down when his father decides to move their family to rural Arkansas and start a farm in the mid 1980s. It stars Stephen Yeun for all you Walking Dead fans. Could be interesting. I mean, lots of pretty interesting immigrant-based movies here. I mean, they just had a recent film called Hala, which just premiered at Sundance and just got a limited release this past month, and that movie was really terrific. So this could probably be interesting too. All right, there's some film called Never Rarely, Sometimes Always, which is from the which is from director Eliza Hittman, who gave us Beach Rats, which was a really good movie. There's a film called 9 Days, which is directed by Edson Oda and stars the likes of Winston Duke, Zazie Beetz, Benedict Wong, Bill Skarsgård, Tony Hale, and it's about in a house distant from reality. We know a reluctant man interviews prospective candidates, personifications of human soul, and for the privilege that he once had to be born. That sounds pretty cool. I mean, Winston Duke, Zazie Beetz, a couple of Marvel actors on this. Benedict Wong, nice. There's a film called Palm Springs, which is from director Max Barbacow and stars the likes of Andy Samberg, Kristen Milotti, J.K. Simmons, Camila Mendes, Pierre Gallagher, and it's about this carefree Niles and a reluctant maid of honor Sarah having a chance to encounter ends up having a chance to encounter at a Palm Springs wedding, and things get complicated the next morning when they find themselves unable to escape the venue themselves or each other. I mean, Andy Samberg. I like Andy Samberg, so. Alright, there's a film called Shelley. There's a film called Shelley, which is directed by Josephine Decker and stars Elizabeth Moss, Micah Stolberg, Odessa Young, and Logan Lerman. And it's about this young couple who ends up moving in with famed author Shirley Jackson and her Bennington college professor husband Stanley Hyman. And things start getting crazy when Shirley decides to find inspiration for her next book. Sounds interesting. There's a film called Sylvie's Love, which is directed by Eugene Ashley and stars Tessa Thompson, Ava Longoria, Aja Naomi King, Wendy McCullough-Covey. And in this, years after the summer romance comes to an end, an aspiring TV producer and a talented musician cross paths only to find their feelings for each other never really change. With their careers taking them in different direction, they must choose what matters the most. Uh, Another film out playing at Sundance is Wonder Darkly, which is from director Tara Millie and stars Sienna Miller, Diego Luna, Amy Carrero, Vanessa Bayer. And it's about new parents, Adrienne and Mateo, are forced to reckon with trauma amidst their troubled relationship, and so they must revisit the memories of their past and unravel haunting truths in order to face their uncertain future. Sounds intriguing. There's an A24 film premiere there called Zola, which is from director Janitza Bravo, who gave us that movie Lemon. And it's about these two girls who bond over Hosium and become best friends, and they end up going to a trip to Detroit, and then they end up having a road trip from Detroit to Florida, and it turns out to be a weekend from hell. And it stars Taylor Page, Riley Keough. I quite like Riley Keough, so anything she's in, I'll definitely give a watch. There's some other documentaries premiering there, like this documentary about Natalie Wood, which I'm kind of intrigued by. But hey, there are documentaries that premiere at Sundance that are really great. Like "Won't You Be My Neighbor" was one of my favorite movies last year. So there's a documentary called "Dick Johnson Is Dead." I don't know anything about that. There's a documentary called "The Fight." Let's There's some film playing there called Charter, which I don't know much about. There's a film called Cuties. I don't know anything about that. Um, there's a film there called Professor, which actually actress Andrea Riseborough has two movies premiering at Sundance. She has a film called Luxor and Professor. Like, good year for Andrea Riseborough. I'm glad to see her career really soaring. I mean, she's in A Grudge. She has some of these films coming. I think she's a really good actress. So kudos to Andrea Riseborough. There's a film called Surge, which stars Ben Whishaw. I like Ben Whishaw, so that could be pretty interesting. Let's There's also a documentary about Taylor Swift premiering there. That could be interesting. I like Taylor Swift, so I'll watch a documentary about her. There's some documentary called The Goo Goo. I thought that was about the Goo Goo Dolls, but it looks like it's not. There's a film called Beast Beast. Okay. A film called Black Bear, which stars Aubrey Plaza, Christopher Abbott, and it's about at a it takes place at a remote lake house, and a filmmaker plays a calculated game of desire and jealousy in the pursuit of a work of art that blurs the boundaries between autobiography and invention. I like Aubrey Plaza, so anything she's in, I'll definitely give a watch. How good was she in that recent Child's Play reboot, by the way? There's a film called Armored Boat, a Fast Boat Fantasia, which is directed by the Daniels, and it stars Mel Rodriguez, Finn Wolfhard, Casey Wilson, Adam Devine, Robert Redford, Jessica Williams. Okay. And it's not just and the weird synopsis is like this: it's not just a speedboat ride; it's a Miami adventure. That doesn't really. I have no idea what that is about. I mean, that's kind of weird. Could give us an interesting synopsis, but whatever. Anyway, there's a film premiering called Spree, which stars Joe Carey, Zashir Zameda, David Arquette, Kyle Mooney, Misha Barton. Hey, Joe Carey is from Steve from Stranger Things. Pretty cool to see his career soaring. And in this film, Kurt Naka is a rideshare driver thirsty for followers and has figured out a deadly plan to go viral. As his disturbing live stream is absurdly embraced by the social media hellscape, a comedian emerges as the only hope to stop this rampage. Dang, that's interesting. There's a film called Summertime, which is from director Carlos Lopez Estrada, who gave us that wonderful movie Blind Spotting, 2 years ago. There's a film Downhill, which stars Will Ferrell and Julie Louis-Dreyfus, and of course, it's like an English remake of that movie Force Majeure. There's a film called Dream House, which stars Toni Collette and Damian Lewis. Viggo Mortensen's directorial debut Falling will be premiering at Sundance. There's a film called The Father with Anthony Hopkins, Olivia Colman, Imogen Poots, and it stars Anthony, who plays this 80-year-old who lives alone in London and refuses the nurse that his daughter tries to impose upon him. Yet help is becoming more pressing as she decides to move to Paris, and it's of course a comedic film about you know about about a movie story of our lead human and all. So I don't know much about that really. There's a film called Four Good Days, which stars Mila Kunis and Glenn Close, and it stars uh, it stars Mila Kunis, who plays this young woman Molly who's dealing with substance abuse. So she ends up moving in with her mom, played by Glenn Close. Haven't seen the movie, but I'm pretty sure she's wonderful in it. There's the Gloria Steinem biopic, The Glorious, with Julianne Moore, Alicia Vikander, Bette Midler, Janelle Monáe, directed by Across the Universe director Julie Taymor. That could be interesting. Let's see. There's a film called Horse Girl, which is from director Jeff Biana, who gave us that really funny nun movie a couple years back. Dang, forgot the name of it. It had Aubrey Plaza in it. Dang, I like that movie too. Anyway, uh, yeah, it's about a socially awkward woman with. Anyway, it's about a socially awkward woman with a fondness for art and crafts, horses, and supernatural crime shows. Find her increasingly lucid dreams tickling into her waking life. You got Alison Brie, Debbie Ryan, Molly Shannon, Jay Duplass. Sounds interesting. Um, there's a film called Ironbark, which is from on Chesapeake Beach director Dominic Cook, and it's based on a true story. A British businessman unwillingly recruited into one of the greatest international conflicts in history. Stars Ben Cumberbatch, Rachel Brosnahan. Cannot wait for season 3 of Miss Maisel, by the way. That could be interesting. There's a film called Kilogenaire, which is from director Miranda July. And it stars Evan Rachel Wood, Gina Rodriguez, Deborah Winger, Richard Jenkins. And it's about this low-stakes grifter and a old Dalio and her parents invite a chipper young woman into their Insuclear clan, only to have their entire world upside down. Now, Miranda hasn't done a movie since 2005's Me, You, and Everyone and Everyone Know It. I think that's what it was called. So it's been a year since she had a film out. There's a film called The Last Chef, which stars Richard Jenkins, Ed O'Neill, Alison Tolman, and it's about this guy named Stanley who's this aging fast food worker who prepares to work his final graveyard shift for after 38 years. And when he's asked to train his replacement, Javon, Stanley's weekend takes an unexpected turn. There's a film called The Last Thing He Wanted premiering there, which is from Mudbound director Dee Reese, and it's about a veteran DC journalist who loses the dread of her own narrative when a guilt propelled Iran for her father Durst's from byline to unwitting subject in the very story she's trying to break. It's based on a novel and also stars Anne Hathaway, Ben Affleck, Willem Dafoe, Rosa Perez. Now, I thought this movie was going to come out this year, but looks like it's coming out next year instead. So it'll probably be qualified for 2021's Oscar. So there's a Netflix film premiere there called Lost Girls, which is based on which is inspired by true events, and it's about this woman named Mari Gilbert whose daughter disappears. So police and all had to try find her. It stars Amy Ryan, Thomasin McKenzie, Lola Kirk, Una Lawrence. Sounds kind of interesting. There's a film called The Nest, which stars Jude Law, Carrie Coon, directed by Sean Durkin, who gave us that who really gave us Elizabeth Olsen's starring film Martha Marcy May Marlene. There's a thriller called Promising Young Woman, which stars Carey Mulligan, Bo Burnham, Alison Brie, Connie Brin, Adam Brody, Jeffrey Coolidge. That could be interesting. I like Carey Mulligan. And it's about this woman named Casey who was once a promising young woman until something abruptly derailed her future. And so, like nothing in Casey's life is as it appears, and she's a smart, cunning, and living a double life by night. And now Casey has the chance to do right, to do all the right, um, to the wrongs of the past in this drill and take on revenge. So I do like me a good revenge film. There's Sergio with which is a Netflix film that stars Ana de Armas, and it's about the chaotic aftermath of the U.S. Invasion of Iraq, and where the life of top UN diplomat Sergio Vieira de Malo hangs in the balance during the most treacherous mission of his career. Dang, that sounds interesting. There's a Nicholas Tesla biopic, Tesla, with Ethan Hawke. Of course, Nicholas Holt just played the role this year in Current War, so it's gonna be interesting to see how good Ethan Hawke does as that as Tesla. There's a film called Uncle Frank, which is directed by Alan Barr, who of course wrote the screenplay for American Beauty, and it takes place in 1973, where a 18-year-old girl named Beth and her uncle Frank takes a road trip from Manhattan to Greekville, South Carolina, for the family's patriarch's funeral. And it's a film about forgiveness, and it stars Paul Bettany, Sophia Lillis, Judy Greer, Margot Martindale, Steve Zahn. Sounds interesting. There's the Peter Pan-like movie Wendy, which is from Beast of Summer Wild director Beyond Zeltlin. There's a film called Worth, which stars Michael Keaton, Stanley Tucci, Amy Ryan, and it's directed by Sarah Calagiano. And it's about a powerful DC lawyer, Kenneth Feinberg, who's the DC lawyer, opponent master of the 9/11 fund, and also that could be interesting. All right. Oh, there's a documentary about Ren and Stimpy. Nice. A documentary about Natalie Wood. I'm kind of interested in that. Like I said, there's a Taylor Swift documentary. Yeah, there's lots of other stuff premiered there. There's a film called Run Sweetheart Run with Ella Balinski. But my computer's about to die, so I'm probably just gonna have to cut off right now. But I'll leave I'll leave a link to the description box so you could guys check out the other stuff premiering at Sundance. But yeah, some really interesting stuff premiered there. I mean, maybe beforehand, I'll probably do my top anticipated movies premiering at Sundance. So I'll probably post that maybe sometime in January. But let me leave it to you guys. What are your thoughts on the films premiering at this year's Sundance? Are you interested in any of these films premiering? Which one do you think sounds the best? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This is Team Movie signing off.